step this way for 2 nickels, 1 dime, a 10th part of a dollar. We've got the show if you've got the dime. It's just starting.
Fantasy Football Funhouse, Football Funhouse, Football Funhouse.
Hey guys.
Hey, Kev. So you haven't been here the last 2 shows, and I was screaming leading into the show, and Steve basically told me I had to shut up. It's breaking breaking the sound barrier.
I actually listened to the first minute of each episode and then turn it off because it was just like I couldn't hear anymore on top of all the other stuff I got going on. So it was you brought the energy, certainly. I like that. So I appreciate it, Sal. I appreciate you filling in on the start there for me.
I mean, great advertising saying you shut the show off after a minute. I mean, that's great.
I'm sure it was great. I'm sure everyone else listened to it because
I'm going to go ahead and say that he shut it off because he was incredibly jealous at how well you opened the show. Couldn't take it. Couldn't do it anymore.
I will say, Sal, and I hate doing this because there's nothing that I hate more than complimenting you, but your overall presence on air lately has just been astounding. I mean, Steve is still a wet blanket, but you carrying shows by yourself, I honestly, you're doing a great job, buddy.
Well, if you recall back to the Seinfeld episode where George is not getting laid and he's a genius.
That's right.
That's what's going on in my life right now. I'm a virtual fantasy football genius.
Oh, man. So I am back. I'm glad to be back. It is nice to be sitting in this chair again. It is nice to be back in my basement. You can see that the feds did not do too much damage. So everything's clean. We've put it all back together.
They let you keep the freezer, huh?
The freezer's still there. So, go figure, right?
I thought they usually put that kind of stuff behind a locker.
Listen, it's when you have the right attorneys, things just go very smoothly. So we got that all taken care of.
In 5 words or less, can you tell us what was wrong with you and how awful it was?
I am dizzy.
That's 5.
It sucks. How's that? 5 words. I am dizzy. It sucks. I have. For those of you who don't know, I have vertigo. It hit me last Wednesday evening, so it's been over a week now.
Kevin, for the live people, does this screw you up when I do this with my hands? Are you okay?
I actually literally have to close my eyes when you do that. So thank you. So if you don't know what vertigo is, it's basically a spinning in your head. So the best way to describe it is like being either completely wasted without actually drinking any alcohol, or like being seasick for those of you who don't drink and have been on a boat. But it's a constant spinning in my head. So if I move my head or turn too quickly or bend over to pick things up, all of that, I basically feel like I'm going to fall down. You
are now Lucille 2 on the Fantasy Football Funhouse from Arrested Development. Lucille 2.
Right. So that's what I've been dealing with the last week and a half. It's really hard to focus on computers and screens and do anything with any kind of concentration. And let me tell you, it takes a lot of concentration to get through an episode with Sal. So Well,
let me be serious for a minute here and say that does sound awful, and I don't envy you at all one bit. And I'm happy to see you feeling a little bit better and getting back into the swing of things. The show is always at its best when the 3 of us are here. So it's good to have you back in whatever capacity that you are back. And to the new followers and listeners on the Gridiron Experts feed, we are a member of the GridironExperts.com family now. And we've gained a ton of new listeners, and it's great to have you guys aboard. This is Kevin. Say hi to Kevin, guys.
Hi, everybody.
He's only been here for one of the 3 episodes. This is episode 4 of the Fantasy Football Funhouse, formerly the Falafel House. We're making a conversion, and we appreciate all our existing listeners and all the new listeners as well.
Yeah, and thank you for that, Sal. And by the way, just some news from today, actually, that we'll be posting out, and we'll get everything out, all the information out there to everyone on Twitter and things like that. But we will have a new podcast feed coming up soon as well. So the Falafel House feed, which had turned into the Fantasy Football Funhouse feed, is still around right now. Eventually, we'll be phasing that out, and we will have a Fantasy Football Funhouse feed on iTunes, and we're working on getting it up there on everything else. So if you are a subscriber to Fantasy Football Funhouse through the Falafel House, go ahead and make sure you search on your Apple Podcast app for Fantasy Football Funhouse, and you'll find the new feed for us right now. There's the first 2 episodes up. I'll get the 3rd one up tonight, and then this one will be going up most likely tomorrow.
So we have Mendo Bruce in the chat. He checked in a little late, and I just want to let him know. He asked that they never found the bodies in the freezer, and no, Kevin was allowed to keep the freezer. Turns out the guy's clean.
Go figure, right?
Kevin, before we get into this wonderful agenda, it's good to have Kevin back. There's a legitimate agenda. Actually,
what are you trying to say? What is that supposed to? Is that a shot?
I think it was a shot. Yeah, I'm pretty sure.
It's a direct shot and it landed. I'd like to talk about a wonderful sponsor of our podcast. These guys have been great, and they are killing it. In the month of August, the quantedge.com is free. So go to the Quant Edge right now and see all the tools. If you've been looking for affordable tools to give you the edge in DFS and betting, then look no further than the quantedge.com. They give you the tools you need to play like a pro. The ability to compare a wide receiver and a cornerback by route. The ability to see the hot spots for a receiver and a defense. And to understand what an offensive lineman's impact is on the team. If you go there now, all this is possible just at the click of a button, thanks to the Quant Edge. TQE will provide you with never-before-seen tools, such as the head-to-head tool, the wide receiver cornerback matchup tool, and the injury impact tool, along with a lineup optimizer that will let you create up to 150 lineups. Somehow Steve will still manage to lose in all 140. 50, sorry, Steve. You will have all the info you could ever want at your fingertips in fun, easy-to-use tools. But that's not all, Kevin.
Whoa.
When you sign up for the quantedge.com, not only do you get access to all these tools, but exclusive content as well. With 10 industry experts on staff, you get access to new articles daily, along with 6 exclusive podcasts for TQE members. We at the Fantasy Football Funhouse want you to go there now and use our code FFFunhouse. If you would have listened to me 2 days ago, you would have got 20% off. But if you go there now, maybe they fell asleep, and maybe if you put that in, you can still get the 20% off. I don't know. Elliot Chris has been working around the clock. He might have forgotten to take that 20% discount down. But go there now, use that code, and start playing like a pro today.
Hey, you know what I heard?
Funhouse.
I heard Steve was actually going to cover the 20% for anyone that signs up in the next hour.
Look at this guy.
Wow. Yeah, look at this guy.
So just, you print out your receipt, send it over to Steve. He'll take care of you.
I missed you, Kevin.
I'm just kidding. That's not true at all. I have no idea whether or not Steve will do that. He might. He's a nice guy. You can try. You can give it a whirl. But you know what's great about this? We're almost 10 minutes into this podcast, and Steve has said like 4 words. This must be great for everyone listening.
We're back, baby.
Yeah, exactly. It feels like it's back to normal. I can't get a word in edgewise. It's all just fine. Like, it's good to go. I am not having any problems. I'm happy to have you back, Kevin. I think Sal just read off so many tools from that TQE that it made you dizzy. I just want to talk about football. That's what you should say. It's been 10 minutes. We haven't even talked about football. There's football on right now.
That's true. And we have a full-size agenda to get to because there's a lot of stuff going on right now with games coming up this week. So hopefully you got... Go ahead.
I'm sorry. If you're watching football right now, you're watching the Jets and the Redskins play trade the interception, which is always fun.
That's beautiful. Who's quarterbacking right now for those 2 teams?
Colt McCoy and this young guy, Sam Darnold. Never heard of him.
Never heard of him, huh? Still, did he start the game?
He did.
Yes.
He started the game.
Good for him.
I think that we're looking at the new starter for the Jets. I really think that he's going to start the season. And I'm happy to have gotten him for only $4 in that best ball draft we did yesterday. Well, auction that we currently have going on. Sorry, John Bosch didn't have enough money to bid me up on him.
So the Jets and Washington was going to be the second game we're going to talk about, but we might as well jump right into it since it's on. We're talking about Sam Darnold, and I agree with you. I think he is the starter for the Jets. What do you expect out of that Jets offense, Sal? Because it's a tough one for me, right? You see there's some weapons there. You know that you think the kid might be able to play, but we've seen struggles out of rookies, and the weapons that they do have are guys that have not historically had long runs of production. We'll put it that way. So,
listen, even the great Peyton Manning led the league in interceptions in the first year that he quarterbacked, right? And this is probably one of the greatest regular season quarterbacks, at least of all time in NFL history. So I think you're going to have a lot of highs and lows with Sam Darnold if he is to start from day one, which I just think it's the best idea for the organization, right? So he hasn't played against the number ones until tonight, but in his previous start, he just did things that looked like a professional quarterback. Just the way he threw the ball in a run and was able to, come out of the pocket and do things. He looks like he's every bit worth the draft spot. So I think you're going to have a typical rookie season. I think that he'll have games where he'll just blow you out of the water and games where he'll probably lose the game for the team by throwing 2 to 3 interceptions. But that's part of the learning curve and the learning process. And it's going to be fun to watch. It's going to be fun to see the Jets possibly have a legitimate quarterback for the first time since I think I've been alive. I'm sorry, Vinny Testaverde.
All of that answer, and you didn't even answer the question I asked. That's just it's what I love about you, Sal. The offense, fantasy-wise, do we think it's relevant?
I really did.
Now, let me tell you what I want to say.
Oh, sorry. I really was buying into Isaiah Crowell as a value in fantasy football. And then I don't know if it was the obligatory "you've been here longer" start in the first game for Bilal Powell, but Bilal Powell started the week 1 preseason game. And then Crowell does something we never got to see him do in Cleveland, and that's catch a pass for a touchdown. And then he gets injured with a concussion on that play. And now he's not practicing. So that leaves the door open for Bilal Powell to start getting the touches again. We see Thomas Rawls is in there tonight, getting a little run because those guys didn't really play. Guys like Robbie Anderson, I expect him to be relevant. In certain weeks, I expect Darnold to be relevant, but I think it's going to be a little hit or miss, and it's going to be a matchup play, fill in the blanks when other teams are on bye weeks type of offense. I don't think that there's any one guy in this offense that I have to have, and I think is going to be a legitimate weekly starter for you. No.
Yeah, I'd say I'm pretty much in the same camp there. If I had to pick somebody, it would be Robbie Anderson. He's their wide receiver 1 on the team. We saw how good that he was last year with Josh McCown. And so having Sam Darnold in there, like Sal said, there are going to be those ups and downs. And that's going to be the biggest thing with this team all year. You've got the running backs that you're not going to be able to count on week to week. And then you've got the wide receivers. You're not necessarily going to be able to count on Darnold to produce week to week. So I think it's luckily none of them are going to be costing you any type of draft capital going into this draft season. So you can kind of take them without having to risk too much. But I think it would be Robbie Anderson. Maybe in a deeper league, I'd be looking at Quincy Enunwa. And then the running backs, I'll probably just stay away. I think there are too many targets on other teams that I would rather go after than this backfield.
Yeah, I mean, dynasties with deep rosters, I think I have, like a share of Terrell Pryor out there. I have a Jermaine Kearse out there, and I have a, Quincy Enunwa somewhere. I don't own any Robbie Anderson because I don't trust it, even though I know there's a lot of love out there for it. I think he's a flashy guy, and I don't know that offense is going to really support it. I think he's a good best ball play because he'll have some big games, but that's about it. Darnold in a super flex league, I like as maybe a third quarterback, because I do think he's going to play a lot this year, and you can start him and in certain matchups and for fill in for bye weeks. So I think that's a great play because he's a lower cost option in a super flex league, redraft obviously. So, but yeah, I think you guys are right. It's going to be a very inconsistent offense. I don't know if it's going to be much to count on, but there will be good plays here and there from around the periphery. So I think it's what you can expect. They're playing Washington right now, who can't keep a running back on the field, Steve.
It sounds about right.
Yeah.
Obviously, like what they've been doing the last few years.
Yeah, obviously Geis goes down out for the season. And from what I'm told, Rob Kelly left the field tonight with an injury.
Was it? No, it was Samaje.
Oh, no, I'm sorry. P. Ryan. Samaje P. Ryan left the field with an injury. So Fat Rob going to get some run.
Yeah, he's kind of the last man standing there.
I'm pretty sure that coming into this game, Jay Gruden was higher on Fat Rob anyway. I happened to grab Rob Kelly, luckily, in our Koff league before Geis went down. So that was really a good grab there. Colt McCoy just got hammered to the face. So Yeah, I think it's going to be a combination of Chris Thompson and Rob Kelly, and we'll see what this is, an ankle injury for P. Ryan, and we'll see what that's all about, because we're going to have to watch how this plays out the rest of the preseason. But I think those are the guys you really want to get your hands on.
Are you guys worried about the reports that came out a few weeks ago about Chris Thompson not necessarily being fully healthy going into this year? I think even one person said that it might be closer to November before he's fully healthy. Is that weighing on your decision to draft him at all right now?
I haven't seen enough of evidence that it might be November. I did see one report of pupless, but I have a feeling maybe he'll be restricted maybe in the first game. But again, let's watch how preseason plays out. But no, I think he'll be back.
Here's the thing.
No evidence of that, though.
Yeah, I mean, until you hear for sure that he's going to be on pup, I mean, he's going a little. I think he's going late enough that you don't have to worry about it that much. You can take the shot because his upside is huge right now with a quarterback like Alex Smith and that offensive line, and the fact that they can't have any other healthy running backs. He's going to be a valuable asset when he plays. So as long as he is healthy, you can count on him for good production, I think. I mean, I don't think you're going to see what we saw in the beginning of last season, but I do think you can count on him for some, high reception totals, decent yardage, and a couple of touchdowns here and there throughout the season. So I'm not knocking him down that much. Obviously, keep your eye on the reports and whatnot. But for now, I'm pretty comfortable with him. So Jordan Reed still practicing, right? So that's a thing.
I saw him at a Twitter fight.
Yeah, the other day they had a fight, the Jets and the Redskins, and I quote tweeted that the greatest thing about this video is that Jordan Reed was at practice. So,
yeah, I mean, I've seemed to end up with him on a lot of my rosters, mostly best balls, because particularly with best ball, it's. I think that's where you need him, right? Because you can fill in you can grab yourself 3 tight ends in a best ball league. And if he does go down, great. And at least you get those 4 weeks of heavy production while he's in there. So hard to say in redraft leagues where you're going to take him, Steve. How early would you take Jordan Reed in a redraft?
Man, I think it's pretty hard to take him you can't take him as your tight end 1. I mean, that's not true. You absolutely can. And I think where he's going, where his value is, where I got him in the Scott Fishbowl, which was a tight end premium league, I think I got him in the 9th round. So if you're getting him somewhere around there, if you can wait till the 9th to pick up a tight end that has the ceiling like he does, I think you absolutely have to do it. I think you're right to add him to a bunch of your teams this year, because his value is all of his injuries are baked into the value. And so you're not going to get many tight ends at this position where they have the ceiling like he does. So Jordan Reed right now, 4-for-4 ADP, going in the back end of the 8th round of a 10 team, middle of the 7th round for a 12 team. I would probably want to wait to see if he could fall just a little bit, but I don't hate that spot either. I think that with what you could potentially get out of him, I think he's worth the value. Everything you've read is that the surgeries have gone well. He's felt so much better, 100% better than he's felt in a long time. I'm buying into it. I'm getting Jordan Reed where I can.
So you're looking at the ADP. Give me some tight ends around that same area.
You've got Kyle Rudolph going about a round ahead of him. You've got Trey Burton going around behind him. Jack Doyle behind him. Kittle, Njoku, Eifert, OJ Howard. I mean, tight end seems to be pretty deep this year. There seems to be a lot of guys that you could wait on. So taking Jordan Reed as your first tight end, I think you can actually get away with more than ever, because of all this talent that you could take, just a couple rounds later.
Yeah, I mean, with the exception of, I'm going to say probably Trey Burton, because most people have him hyped up a little bit and expect him to produce, even though I think there's question marks. There's question marks with all of those guys going behind Jordan Reed. So you can make a case that Jordan Reed has the highest ceiling out of all of them, probably higher than Kyle Rudolph, even, who's going around ahead of him. So I'm with you. I like Jordan Reed. I have him, like I said, have him in a lot of places. So I'm all in on that. And I think, we've talked about it in the past. We talked about it last year. We've talked about it pretty much all offseason. It's easy to take Vernon Davis. So you can get him another couple of rounds after that and just solidify, you probably still have a top, a tight end 1 built in between the two of them.
Steve, do you want to tell Kevin the proclamation I made on the last episode referring to some tight ends?
Would you put Gronk at like 6?
2 second-year tight ends.
6 now.
He proclaimed, I actually had it written down on the floor right here.
Oh, nice.
David Njoku will score more points than Evan Ingram.
Oh, all right.
It's literally the only thing I wrote down from last show. I'm so proud right now.
You know what? I don't hate the take, Sal. I like
I
it.
actually love it.
I do. I really.
Kevin's speechless.
Yeah, you left me speechless because I agree with you, and that makes me scared and afraid.
And jealous that he didn't say it first. I can
Yeah.
tell it right now. He's sad you beat him to it.
Here's the thing, right? I mean, you just look at the options, and we've talked about this a lot over the last few episodes. Is what number option is a player in the offense, right? It's not just are you on a high volume offense. Are you on a high volume offense, but you're the fifth option? That's not so great. And Njoku might be. He very well could be the second option in that offense this year. I mean, we'll see how it plays out. I think
hasn't that changed amazingly over the last couple of weeks, right?
Because of course. Yeah, I mean,
because Gordon not reporting, Coleman being chipped out, Callaway just being an absolute freak show.
Yeah.
Hopefully the kid is being honest and is cleared of everything. And then Des Bryant doesn't scare me.
Yeah, and I mean, there's rumors now that Gordon might be out might be going to jail for 30 days. So I mean, apparently,
I didn't hear that. Did that really come out today?
Yeah. So there's a post out there that he missed a child support payment and will, as a first offender, that's a 30-day sentence apparently. So not confirmed yet. We don't know that for sure, but that's the rumor. And if that's the case, I mean, you're not looking at him till probably mid-October. Depending on when it all gets sorted out, if it goes down right now. How about the fact
that he hasn't practiced football?
And he hasn't practiced football, so yeah.
And he would have to be reinstated because this would be something that wouldn't he be suspended for this, obviously?
I don't know if that's
I don't know about that.
Offense,
yeah. I mean, that's a tough one, right? You got to figure the NFL might look at it, but I don't know if you suspend someone for that. I mean, but going to jail, maybe. I don't know. It's still detrimental to the league. They can still wave that flag, but yeah, so I mean, Jarvis Landry's going to eat because that's what he does, and he's probably the most talented guy on the roster. So, who's next? Is it Njoku? Maybe Duke Johnson gets some good. Yeah. I mean, if Nick Chubb turns into what people think Nick Chubb could be at some point, but Njoku very well could be the second option. Meanwhile, over in the Giants world, you got OBJ, you have Steve's boy Sterling Shepard. You got Saquon Barkley, who people think is going to catch like 70 or 80 balls in his rookie season. I mean, it's there's just a lot more there. So I don't hate the take at all. The one caveat to that, though, I guess.
Here's why I hate it.
Yeah, well, no, he's not. I don't hate it. The difference is I think that the New York Giants will score more points than the Cleveland Browns, and they'll have more end zone opportunities, which I think benefits, I think benefits them a little bit more as far as the number of opportunities that he's going to get in the end zone there. So,
yeah, that type of thing's tough to predict. I don't hate it either. I think that they can both. We both said that Ingram is somebody that is probably being drafted a little too high this year, and that he's probably due for a little bit of regression. We saw how Njoku looked in the Browns' first preseason game. We'll get to see him a little bit more on Friday night. But yeah, I don't hate it either. He's an athletic tight end. He's going to have a quarterback in Baker Mayfield who's not afraid to pull the trigger. It's going to be fun stuff.
All right, so we sidetracked to the Browns, but there's a couple other games going on right now. So let's talk about them a little bit. The Steelers are playing the Packers. I'm not watching that one because my Patriots are also playing the Eagles, which is funny. I don't know if you guys heard this nationally. I'm sure it came out, but the Eagles trolled the Patriots with a billboard right outside of Gillette Stadium. Did you see this?
I did not hear.
No, what did it say?
So there was an Eagles fan that there was a bunch of pictures from the Super Bowl and things like that. I forget what the tagline on it was, but it was put up literally right across the street from the stadium by an
Shame
Eagles
on the
fan.
person who sold that.
Yeah, I mean, hey, it is what it is. Supposedly, the whole thing, the person who bought it was a Twitter bet because a Patriots fan and an Eagles fan from Philadelphia made a bet after the Super Bowl, and this girl made a tweet, and if she got a certain amount of likes and retweets, the guy said he'd pay for a billboard, and she blew it away. So, so there was a billboard up all week for trolling the Patriots about the Super Bowl. So kind of funny.
So you're telling me this girl most likely promised to flash the camera or something? These damn women.
I'm guessing. I mean,
damn women and their goodies.
Right, I was gonna say it's all goodies for you over there in single land, right? So, but the Patriots are playing the Eagles right now, and Brady has played almost he played almost the full first half of football, and he looked pretty good. I mean, everything went to James White, everything goes to Chris Hogan, and but Brady looked fairly efficient. They can't get the ball downfield, which I'm not surprised about. They don't have any downfield receivers, so it's going to be tough for them to do that. Who do you guys think anyone in that offense actually steps up to catch outside passes?
I mean, it just guys are disappearing weekly off that roster, so it's very hard to decide. I got to see what.
Don't look in the freezer. Just don't look.
I knew it. Jordan Matthews is in there. I knew it. But ice
those tender hamstrings.
At this point, the ice is probably good for him. No, I got to see what the final roster looks like, Kevin. I'm not sure Eric Decker is going to make the team still. I know that's not a for sure thing. I mean, Hogan looked great. Hogan, they went to him. They connected for a touchdown on the first drive. Edelman got some play, typical Edelman type of stuff, but you have to wait, a few weeks before you get to see that. So now I don't know that the person is either on the roster or known yet. That's going to be doing the outside stuff.
Yeah, I agree. It's going to be tough for them to throw the ball downfield. Now, hopefully, obviously there's no Gronk in this one. He opens things up a little bit. I think when you see a Gronk on the field, you'll see Hogan be outside in those not deep routes, but necessarily he'll go deep every once in a while, but those long intermediate routes that he likes to run. And then you'll see, obviously the 4 games until Edelman comes back. When they get those 3 guys back, I don't see any problems, but there's really no one else in the offense that you're going to.
Doesn't it make you crazy, though, watching what James White does tonight? He's going to not be involved in the offense come week.
Oh, it's crazy. It's absolutely crazy.
Guy broke off a 33-yard run. He had multiple receptions, and he'll probably start as the number 3 running back.
You know what, though? With Rex Burkhead out tonight with an injury, and obviously Sony Michel, their first-round pick, not playing in this one, still out after a knee procedure earlier in the preseason. I mean, it's entirely possible that James White is a feature back for the first few weeks while they ease guys back in. It's not out of the realm of possibility, and Brady loves him. So if he's succeeding in that role and getting some run, he could be on the field an awful lot this year.
I do remember someone on this podcast drafted James White in the SFB and received a lot of what we'll call flack from the two of you for that pick. And now I've just got to say I'll see you in the playoffs.
I don't remember giving them flack. I don't
remember any flack at all.
Steve's the only one who remembers it.
What, did you take him in the 4th round? Because that might be a little rough.
No, I got him late. I got him real late, and you guys were. I think it was just because I took him. You had to say something about it. How it was?
What was that pick on the Falafel House? That show doesn't even exist anymore.
Here's the deal, Steve. I still think obviously the injury sets Sony Michel back, but I do think that he's still going to be a very heavily used running back in this offense once he does get on the field and get some practice time. You may not see that in the first few games now. Because Belichick typically likes guys to practice to be on the field. So, but I do think he's going to get a lot of run. Now, that still means that James White can be the James White of last year, and he's still pretty productive in a lot of games. So, your problem with James White on your SFB team is it's not a best ball. So you have to figure out when you're going to start him.
That's true,
and that's tough.
Yes, that is tough. I agree. I do agree. I just had to remind you guys of that. And I'll just say real quick on Tom Brady, the vertical passing threat, I'm not necessarily worried about that so much. He is, death by 1,000 cuts. He hits the open guy. He can throw the ball 40, 50 times a game, and he's going to get his. Gronk's going to get his. So I'm not really necessarily worried about what wide receiver is going to catch him on the outside. I think that offense runs smoothly enough. They're going to all be able to get their work. I won't be focusing on many of the New England wide receivers so much this year, but definitely Tom Brady and Gronk, they're going to get theirs like they always do.
I don't think we saw anything out of the Eagles tonight that's worth discussing in that game.
No, they look lost. I mean, granted, they had Nick Foles, who then left with a shoulder injury, so monitor that if you're a person expecting Nick Foles to be traded. Sudfeld's been in. He's not really running the offense very well. They're not running the ball well. Jay Ajayi looks like he's dancing a lot. I will tell you that. I mean, I don't know if that's, the Patriots defensive line playing pretty well, or if it's the way Ajayi's running. But he has not looked great in the few times I've seen him carry the ball.
Corey Clement.
I don't know that Corey Clement is really going to be a thing either. It's going to be hard to count on any of the Eagles running backs this year, I think. I gotten Ajayi, for pretty cheap prices in some places, so that's good. And that's why I've taken him, because of the value, because there's a chance that he'll have some big games, but it's going to be tough because, everyone complains about the Patriots and how they rotate their running backs. Which running back's going to play for the Eagles? Steve, you don't look like you know.
I'm not picking one. I'm staying away from that.
Sal, you love Corey Clement, but when will he be on the field?
He had a very nice first game in the preseason, Corey Clement. Got a lot of touches.
Yeah, first game of the preseason always tells you everything you need to know about the upcoming
No, but he
season.
ran with the first
That translates.
No, you guys are just obviously two jack-offs. What I'm saying to you is Corey Clement is expected to be involved in this offense. He was in with first teamers last week.
No, I'm not saying he's not going to be involved. My point is how much, and at what point do you know to put him in? I mean, if he's getting involved, could be 7 carries a game and 3 catches.
Yeah, I think that he'll be a
5.
I think in a 12 to 14 team league, he'll be a flex worthy consideration. Obviously, you want to see how it starts. We're gonna have to watch the early part of the year and see how it goes. But I think it's Ajayi and him. I don't think that. I think Darren Sproles was more of a, get to leave on your own terms and not retire off of an injury type of signing. And we know Sproles always. I've said it for years. It always comes back to Sproles, but I don't think that's the case this year. I think that they know what they have in Clement, and I think that the guy has the ability to be a really valuable piece for an NFL team. So I think he's going to play. Obviously, we'll have to see everything's a matter of touches and how things play out.
Do you and Tyler Gunther, our good friend from the Dynasty Happy Hour, have like weekly conference calls about Corey Clement and his prowess?
I call to adjourn the meeting of the Corey Clement lovers.
I'm sure there's plenty more out there, but yeah.
Mike Riggs, I believe, of Gridiron Experts, is a Corey Clement guy.
Our new family at Gridiron Experts. Excellent.
I love you, Mike.
Wow. I'm sure he's feels regretting his decisions at this point. So can you stop doing that with your head? You're actually making me a little sick. But yeah, anyway, so let's move along here. Steelers Packers, our good friend of the program, Brandon DePau has made a lifelong Packers fan, has made his first trip over to Lambeau. So congratulations to you, Brandon. I honestly couldn't be happy for you, dude. There's nothing better than seeing your favorite team in their place. And Lambeau's a field that I would love to go check out. So as a fan of the Packers, I can't even imagine what that's like.
I didn't know he was going tonight. I saw him post that he was going. I thought he meant at some point this year. He's at the game tonight?
He is at the game tonight.
And he got to see Rodgers drive right down the field to Devontae Adams, a beautiful crossing pattern, and Adams took it up the sidelines and got into scoring position for none other than Jimmy Graham. First drive of the year. They connected with each other. So
I like it.
A lot of people are saying, Jimmy Graham's not going to do it there. They'll use the tight end. I don't know. I mean, it's one drive. It's the preseason, but it's a nice early start to hook up in the end zone.
Jimmy Graham being drafted in the 5th round of a 12-team league. You're taking that chance?
I got to see how my roster plays out. Yeah, it's high.
No.
It's high. It's high, but
I can't do 5th. I can't do 5th. There are so many other positions that I'm going to go with at that point. I think we've talked about it before, right? If you're not getting the top, what you want to call it, 2 or 3 tight ends, whichever one you want to go with. I call it 2.
I think it's 3, but
I don't think Ertz is up there because I'm not taking him early. But I get people that want to. That's fine. After that, no, I'm waiting till Jordan Reed in the what do we say, 9th?
Yeah.
So
no, 8th. I think it's the 8th.
You could get a Joko on like the 15th, Kevin.
There you go. Even better. I'll stack the Njoku OJ Howard combo there.
There you go.
Second year combo. So I don't know if you saw the recent notification that came out, but Jamal Williams did leave with an ankle injury in this game.
Well, that's surprising.
Montgomery was getting a lot of play on the next couple of drives and catching the ball and running the ball. Aaron Jones not playing.
My mind's been a little fuzzy lately. Can you remind me who's been talking up Tymo all offseason? Who's that? Anyone?
Probably Probably Mama Montgomery.
Oh.
It's got to be you since you're bringing it up, Kevin. But guess what?
Yeah, Kevin. Yeah.
I'm pretty sure I've been saying regularly that the value on him is the best because he's being drafted after both those guys.
Not anymore.
Not anymore.
Correct. No, that is correct. His value is the best, but Ty Montgomery is a preseason darling. All right, he's going to get through the first or second game of the season. He's going to hurt himself, and Jamal Williams is going to be there to scoop up all the work like he did last year and do so well like he did last year as well. Jamal Williams, a great value in the 8th or 9th round of your fantasy draft this year.
Aaron Jones.
Sal, did you see Steve tweeting out to the Jamal Williams fan club earlier this week?
We are growing.
He's sucking more people into his web.
I missed it. What's his
What's his Twitter? You don't even know his Twitter handle.
Jay Swaggy.
It's Sid Skeet. You can find me on Twitter.
I meant Jamal Williams. Tool bag, something Swaggy P or what the hell is he?
I think it's Jay Swag Daddy. Something
Jay
else
Swag
after that.
Teddy. No, he didn't tweet at Williams, although you should.
I try not to tweet at players at all.
Did he unblock you yet?
Nonsensical fantasy game. No, he never blocked me.
Meanwhile,
we've exchanged DMs. Okay,
was that they DM'd with each other.
That's right.
And he blatantly big timed you. Just,
I mean, he didn't even big time me. He just never gave me that chance.
Talk to my agent, bro.
That's right. That's right. And his agent gave me one of these. Who?
Something that was nice to see in the Steelers game, though. Did you guys see James Conner?
I did not. I haven't been watching that game, but I'll tell you, I'm excited about James Conner.
He had a 24-yard run and a 26-yard touchdown run.
He makes me happy.
You make me happy when skies are gray.
If you guys could only pick one handcuff or one presumed handcuff, you can stop with that, Sal.
Gillisley sighting on the Patriots game, by the way, right now.
Started them in DFS. Let's go. Get it up.
Let's go. One handcuff, James Conner or John Kelly.
Oh, God.
Ooh.
It's easily
just
Conner.
No question. I mean, the injury risk is there for both of them, obviously, but with Bell not playing and holding out, and obviously those guys come in more susceptible to injury, so there's a greater chance of injury for him. And then on top of that, Connor's second-year player, knows the offense. There's not really much competition unless you believe in Jalen Samuels, which I whatever, I don't.
No.
So who's the there's another guy in LA, I forget.
Oh, in LA. I thought you were talking about Pittsburgh. I was going to think Stephen Ridley.
Oh, Stephen Ridley, yeah. Stephen Ridley for the win. No, I obviously not. But
is Cunningham still there, or is he with the Bears?
No, it's not Cunningham. It's oh man, Bob. We're just calling Bob.
Bob.
But no, there's another guy that filled in for. Do you remember last year towards the end of the year he was like a big handcuff? Everyone started grabbing it, Gurley's backup.
Handcuff. Yeah, not important.
Anyway,
not
John Kelly will probably win the backup job there, but I just and he may see the field a little bit, but I think you're going to have way more value in Connor.
All right, fair enough.
I think Connor starts the game at least once this year. How's that for a bold prediction? Starts at least one game this year.
I like it. Oh, I like it a lot.
So you're saying that James Conner is so good that he will supplant Le'Veon Bell for one game this year. That's good.
I did not say
That's
that.
bold.
I did not say that. I said he will start a game this year.
Bell has a little nicky, and then
Yeah, a little tightness, a little soreness.
No one calls it a nicky.
I kind of like that. I might feel that.
Stiffness.
A little soreness. How about my boy Big Ben clearing the protocol already? Concussions can't keep him down.
He wasn't going to play tonight anyway, but
I heard he wasn't even concussed. He just got his helmet knocked off or something.
Yes, it's exactly what happened. Figure that big giant head of his, that helmet would figure out a way to stay on.
Look, as much as I love Ben Roethlisberger as a fantasy asset, he's phenomenal when it comes to injuries. Like just the overall whining, crying, and all of that is amazing to me. But we
discussed it last episode. We mocked you again for ranking him first a couple of years ago.
Well, of course, I get it. It wasn't a terrible call. Where'd he finish that year? Like 7th,
or in the teens, I think.
I don't think it was particularly close.
I think it was the following year that he was.
Yeah, he missed
better.
games. He missed games.
He missed games. Yeah,
that was the reason.
But look, he's
you're not
always
terrible, Kevin.
he's always a solid fantasy quarterback. You can get him late in most cases. So in any single quarterback league, or even in dynasties. I mean, his price is so cheap because obviously he's getting older. He threatens to retire all the time, but he'll probably play another couple of years. I've said it before that I think Mason Rudolph being drafted is going to push him a little bit, push him to work a little harder. They said he came into camp in great shape. We'll see if he stays healthy, but if the guy stays healthy, I mean, he with those receiving options, with Le'Veon Bell as a receiving option, he can throw 3-4 touchdowns in literally any game.
Yeah, I got no problems with Ben. No problems whatsoever.
I got big problems, but it has nothing to do with football.
You get in an altercation with him personally?
He's a piece of garbage.
Oh, wow. All right. Allegedly, Sal. Allegedly.
Oh, I hope you know what? You have a daughter, you son of
Yeah, you don't get to pick and choose your battles here, Kevin.
No, I do actually, because I like to see physical. I like to see physical evidence that something actually occurred, such as a video of someone punching a woman, things like that.
Sir.
I'm not even. Yeah, I'm not even going down. I'm not going down this road.
All right.
Not going down the
Let's
road.
Let's move along. There are games coming up all weekend. There's 5 games on Friday. We got another 7 games on Saturday and 1 on Monday. So we were originally going to try and squeeze in all of these things, but
why don't we do a quick hit of what player in each one of those games we're interested in seeing?
All right, so let's do this. I'll run them down for you. On Friday, we have the Chiefs and Falcons. Steve, who are you interested in that game?
Like we talked about on Tuesday, I'm interested in seeing a longer look at Pat Mahomes. He is the kind of the wild card on that offense, the new quarterback. He was drafted last year. He is going to be, he's running the show now. Everyone has anointed him the next coming of, a good quarterback.
This is the dawning of the age of the quarterback.
Everyone thinks he's gonna be so good, and I want to see it. I just want to see it.
You just think you're so good.
Yeah. Yeah, so definitely Pat Mahomes is someone that I'm looking forward to getting a good look at.
I agree, and Andy Reid said he's going to play the whole first half, so that's interesting.
Nice. Sal, Falcon side of the ball, give me one player to look at.
If Calvin Ridley's healthy and playing, I'd like to see what he does with some extended playing time, for sure.
I'd like to see my guy that I'm watching from the Falcons this year is obviously Austin Hooper. I want to see if he takes that step forward to becoming a mid-level tight end 1, which isn't that hard, but I think he can be that guy. So I'd like and the value on him, he's basically free. I don't know where he falls on that tight end list, Steve, but he's basically free. So he's a guy that I want to keep an eye on this preseason, see if he takes a step forward, and continues his rapport with Matt Ryan and sees some more targets in this offense. All right, Giants play the Lions, and Sal, who's your big one in this one?
Barkley's not going to play, so that would normally be who I'd be interested to see a little bit more of. So I've been getting Sterling Shepard in a lot of places, so I'd like to see how he's getting used. I think Eli has come out and said he's really likes the way the kid plays, and I think that Shepard's in for a really not a surprisingly big year, but a bigger year than a lot of people think.
Steve?
I mean, that is absolute music to my ears. Shepard's going as wide receiver 44 right now. I think people forget what a good rookie season he had. He got hurt last year, so he missed some time. Yeah, definitely he's somebody that I'm going to be looking at. On the Lions side of the ball, I don't know how much Kerryon Johnson is going to be playing this week. He did get nicked up a little bit in the last game, but the Lions backfield with LeGarrette Blount, Amir Abdullah, Theo Riddick, Kerryon Johnson, their rookie running back, that is something that I want to see if we can get a little more clarity on, if we can dial in who's going to be that starting guy, because there's a lot of people back there. And when they've had a guy that has been healthy and has been able to be there, we've seen some production out of him. So I like the Lions offense overall. They just need that running back, and I want to know who it is, damn it.
Sticking with my tight end theme, it's all about Michael Roberts for me. Got to see him play. Let's see him get more touchdowns.
I don't know if he's healthy, honestly. He's got a leg injury.
I don't think so either. And you know what? I as far as the Detroit backfield, Steve, I'm going to tell you right now, you will get no clarity on that. I don't think you'll have clarity on it all season. So good luck with that one. If you are a fan of Kerryon Johnson, he needs to absolutely run away completely with the job in order for you to have clarity. I think that's the only it's the only option I see, right? If he really crushes it and comes out and just is super, super explosive and dominates everyone, I think it's the only way you're going to get any clarity on this one. All right, the Bills play the Browns. We talked about the Josh Gordon situation, so nothing to watch there. I'll tell you, on the Bills side of the ball, Josh Allen and Corey Coleman are going to team up on the second team, so they're going to be second unit in, obviously, for the Bills. Corey Coleman going against his former team that just traded him. That's an interesting matchup to watch for me because I want to see if those guys can build a little rapport, because I do believe that Josh Allen will, eventually overtake for the number one spot there, probably pretty early in the season. I would say week 3 is probably my over-under for that if he doesn't win it outright. And so I want to see if those guys can, get a little connection going, because Corey Coleman's really the only wide receiver they have.
Oh, Kelvin Benjamin.
And Zay
Right.
Jones.
Kelvin Benjamin's
Zay
Benjamin's a tight end.
Well, that's he might even be a linebacker, but Zay Jones, I have no faith in Zay Jones. But no, I agree with you, Kevin. I think that you saw some good things out of Josh Allen in the first preseason game. He got some extended playing time, and I think that he got his balls broken a little bit, and he by some reporters and podcasters and stuff. But I thought the kid actually didn't play altogether that bad.
No, a couple of stupid plays overall, but he threw the ball. I mean, he's a rookie quarterback. What do you expect out of the guy?
Everybody wants to harp on the one play when he was going down and threw the ball, falling down backwards, which was a stupid play. But look further at the rest of the plays, and you'll see some nice passes, some on-the-run passes, and some nice completions.
I've seen Paxton Lynch do that 100 times.
Oh God, no, I don't think he's ever completed the ball 100 times total.
Definitely not happening. Steve, anything from this game that you're taking away or looking at?
No, not necessarily. I think you guys nailed it. That's seeing that they're going to be playing together should just be a signal. That's where the future of that team is for those two positions. It's Josh Allen, it's Corey Coleman, seeing what they can do together. I think getting a good look at that is definitely what I'll be looking at most. And then, of course, on the Brown side of the ball, seeing Baker Mayfield play some more, I won't be upset about that.
Dolphins, Panthers. Steve, go.
Dolphins, Panthers, I'm going to have to say, we talked about on Tuesday how Christian McCaffrey was used a little bit more as a workhorse back. I want to see if they continue that, if they give us any more idea if that's going to happen. So looking at his usage and how they use him, especially near the goal line or in the red zone, is going to be what I'm paying attention to most there.
A friend of mine was doing an auction tonight, and he was asking me some questions today, and we were basically going team by team. Who do I like? What do I not like? I got to Miami, and I was like, you know what? I don't want anybody on this offense. I don't want anybody. I don't want to take a chance with that backfield as mixed up as it is. And as we nicknamed Frank Gore Pet Cemetery the other night, Kevin. I don't want to mess around with the wide receivers, because Kenny Stills, while we have him ranked as the best one, he's nicked up in practice this week and not even playing that much. Devontae Parker broke a finger.
Plus,
the young guys.
Tannehill.
Yeah, it's just I don't think I want any piece of this offense.
You know who I want? And it's odd because first-year tight end, we know all that. It's all about Gesicki. I mean,
yep.
Given what you just said about the passing weapons, and given what we know about Tannehill as far as the way he plays and the type of thrower he is, and easing back into this offense for after spending more than a year out. I think there's a legitimate chance that kid catches a lot of passes, or at least gets
cheap.
a lot of targets. And he's cheap.
Yeah,
he's
in redraft for sure.
So he's the guy I'll probably keep looking at throughout this offseason. And on the Panthers side of the ball, give me all the Christian McCaffrey. I feel like that was the theme of the podathon for me, was I'm all in on Christian McCaffrey this year. So
we went in on that last episode. You could go back and hear that, but 14 first team snaps, and he was on for all 14. So. In game 1.
All right. So the Cardinals and the Saints, Sal.
I'd like to get some clarity on who the other running back's going to be for the Saints, but I don't think you'll get that much. Like you said, you're not going to get any clarity with the Detroit backfield. So I'll say
it matters. Does it matter? I mean, it's 4 weeks.
I think it does. Because you could steal some good touches early on. But let's say you grab Mark Ingram, and you need somebody to offset that for the first 4 weeks. You might want to get the guy who's going to take his spot directly, but I'll just say Rosen. I'll like to see more of Josh Rosen and see what he's going to do in this game.
So here's my going back to that running back thought. Given where you're going to take whatever running back you take, right? Let's say one of them dominates the touches over the next 2 weeks, 2.5 weeks, right? Or, is dominating and looks like they're going to be in the Mark Ingram role for that 4 weeks. Given where you're going to take them, are you still really going to start him? He's probably not a startable player in the first 4 weeks. You're not dealing with bye weeks.
We play in 16-team leagues, Kevin, and we're going to
Sure.
be playing in another one, the Gridiron Experts 16-team league. And those are the type of leagues. You want to be a man or you want to be a fantasy football lady, you got to play in these tough leagues.
Do all fantasy football ladies have to have deep voices like that? Is that?
Yeah,
I feel like you're stereotyping them a little bit.
That's how I picture them.
Post-op?
There's a lot of beautiful women playing fantasy football, but I picture them all having that kind of voice. You know what I'm saying?
So they're all
and all been smoking since they're 13.
They're all related to Marge Simpson, apparently. So, yeah, in a deeper league, I think you might have to get by with a guy like that. Falafel 16-team league, somebody's going to be starting that guy. I'm telling you right now. Most likely Kareem because he made bad choices with his running backs.
Right, that's probably true. All right.
What up, Kareem?
Let's keep moving through these just so we get to everyone. Jaguars.
Not so fast. I would like to say for the New Orleans Saints wide receivers, Cam Meredith came over from the Bears. He had that knee injury. He is not playing right now. He's dealing with, I don't know if it's something stemming from that injury or a new injury altogether, but he's not playing. I'm going to be looking at their rookie wide receiver that has gotten a lot of good marks over the offseason so far and in training camp, Traquan Smith.
Fair enough. I'd keep a good eye on Traquan Smith, but I'm curious to see what the deal is with Meredith, but hopefully he works it out because I'd like to see him in that offense. But
me too.
All right. The Jaguars and the Vikings play on Saturday, Steve. The rest of these will be Saturday games.
Rock Thomas.
I knew that's what he was going to say because he put it on the agenda last time. I didn't address it, and I think Rock Thomas is. I'm even hearing stuff out of practice this week. I like it.
There you go.
I don't care. All right.
I don't care.
Raiders in the Rams South. Derek Carr apparently has mastered the Gruden offense already.
That's what it sounds like. But you know what? There's some interesting stuff going on with the Raiders wide receivers. I think Jordy Nelson is going to be a really good value this year where you could get him in redraft. And if you're a win now team in Dynasty, I would trade for him. He's looked good, and this is a guy who has a history of being a big play wide receiver. I'm not saying he's going to be a wide receiver 1 or even a wide receiver 2, but I think he's going to be a wide receiver 3 and in 3 wide receiver leagues and deep flex leagues. I think he's going to be a guy you could play. And a surprise guy who's done a ton with other people missing time, Griff Whalen is a guy I'm hearing a ton about. In he's running with the ones in the slot.
This guy pops up every 3 years. He pops up from some team, and then
he's playing in the slot with the ones. Let's look at him in the preseason game. That's all I'm saying.
Do you know the last team that he played in the slot with the ones during preseason was?
He got slotty.
He didn't make the roster.
Well, thank God the Raiders are not as good as the Patriots.
Well, that's true.
That is true.
All right. The Bengals and the Cowboys. Steve, Dak Prescott is apparently starting to click with the wide receivers. If you can name all of the wide receivers in Dallas right now, I'd be impressed.
We got Michael Gallup. We got Allen Hurns. We got Cole Beasley, Terrence Williams. How many more? That was 4. How many more do I have to do? The whole depth chart? Come on.
Got to get the depth chart.
Rosters haven't even been cut down, all right? That's unfair. That's not fair. The Cowboys, I think everyone saw Michael Gallup last week in their first preseason game. I think getting a good look at him. But in this game overall, you nailed it. It's John Ross. John Ross is the guy I'm looking at the most. He seems to be the biggest question mark coming into this game in terms of what he's going to bring to the field. We were big fans of him last year. And so I definitely want to see what he is going to continue to bring to the table for the Bengals.
Tavon Austin.
Tavon Austin. Yeah, how do you forget Sal's boy, Tavon Austin?
I thought he was a
running
back
SFB.
still. Running back still.
And I'm with you. I'm with you, Steve, on John Ross. Great value for him so far this year. All right, the 49ers and the Texans, Sal.
Say it.
I got to see what's going on in that running game and who's healthy. I got to see if McKinnon. They're probably not going to play McKinnon, right? Because with the little nicked up,
I don't think any of them play.
Little nicky that he has.
I think it's all McNichols all the time in this one.
That's right.
Oh my! Is Deshaun Watson going to play in this game?
I don't know the answer to that, but I'd be curious to see it.
I guess if he's playing, then that's something we'll have to look for in this game.
If you've seen any of these teams have had joint practices this week, and they've gotten a little feisty. So I think I'll be looking for that. I'll be looking for that fire.
So
on the
Steve's
field.
just looking for fights. That's all. That's all he wants.
Steve, you want to see a good fight? Check out, when the Miami Marlins decide to throw a ball at Okuna on the very first pitch of the game because he's good at baseball.
Yeah,
Garoppolo Kittle connection. That's all I want to see in this one.
Is Kittle playing?
Kittle's not going to play.
No,
He's not healthy.
No, he's not playing.
He needs to get healthy because I still have high hopes for Kittle. All right. Buccaneers and Titans, Steve.
You know, the big thing out of the Buccaneers camp this week has been Peyton Barber and how much ahead of Ronald Jones he is on the depth chart. So I'd like to see how they come out in this offense.
Speak.
I would like to see what happens.
It reeks of a coach trying to light a fire under a rookie.
You know what? Normally, I would believe that because Peyton Barber he's not a new name. We've heard him he's been around and we've heard him. He did well for the Buccaneers at the end of last season. But there are a lot of people that I trust or whose opinion I value on Twitter that are talking up Peyton Barber. And so it's something I want to look at. I want to pay attention and see what's going on and try and decide for myself.
Porn bots.
Just to be clear, Steve's porn bots are recommending Peyton Barber.
Not just anybody can get my credit card number. All right.
That's right.
A lot.
I just almost did a spit take. That was really close.
Sal, Bears, Broncos.
Oof. God, I guess I got to see more of Royce Freeman and what goes on in the backfield with Denver.
Give me all the Booker.
You
Take
can have him.
That's what I figured. I'm just kidding. I do like Booker, as far as a flyer this year, because I don't think that anyone knows what's going to happen with that backfield for sure. Royce Freeman, you definitely got to keep an eye on him in this one. Let's keep moving. Rapid fire here. Seahawks, Chargers, Steve. Doug Baldwin doing some warm-ups, obviously not going to play in this one, but starting to do some sprinting. It's good.
That is good. That's good to have him back. He is definitely other than Russell Wilson, he is my favorite Seahawks player going into this year, as he should be for everybody. But I am going to talk about the Chargers wide receivers, the battle between
Lockett,
Tyrell Williams and Mike Williams. I would like to see who if someone can take hold of that number 2 wide receiver spot there behind Keenan Allen. Good things have been said about both of these guys. They're both healthy. I want to see them both on the field. I want to see what they both can do. That's the battle I'll be looking at.
Quick thought on that. I don't know that either of them really has to do more than the other because they don't have a tight end. So I think all 3 of them are going to be used. So,
but Travis Benjamin's there.
Right. So on Monday night, the Ravens play the Colts. And what are you looking for in that one, Sal?
So I see that you have up that Jordan Wilkins have received first-team reps, and so I was going to promote this anyway in my final thought. I made an appearance recorded last night on the GOAT District podcast, and that was released today. You could check that out. It's up on my Twitter. But one of the things on the agenda they had was name a player you've been back and forth on this year, and maybe you were high on him, now you're not so high on him, and you really don't know what to do. And my answer was Naheem Hines because, it looked like he was going to have every opportunity to get some play in that offense ahead of even Marlon Mack, Kevin's favorite guy, tongue in cheek. And he just hasn't played well. Did you guys see his 3 punt duty attempts the other night? He fumbled all 3 of them.
Punt returns is what they're called.
He fumbled. Well, he didn't return any of them, so I can't.
Technically, Sal's right.
He fumbled one, and he fumbled one away. He fumbled one that his team recovered, and he bobbled one that he had to kneel because he just took too long to actually get control of it. So he looked nervous. Maybe it's first-team jitters. I have to see how this backfield is going to play out. I presume Marlon Mack is not going to play. Robert Turbin and the ghost of Christian Michael played in last game. I want to see these.
Here he
two
comes again.
rookies.
Hype train coming.
I want to see
hype.
Hines and Wilkins. I want to see what both of those guys do. That's what I'm looking for specifically.
I think the backfield there is definitely going to be one to watch. I think they're going to be an improved offensive line, but for me, I'm assuming Luck's not playing in this game, but I just need to see good pass protection. I don't care who's behind there. I want to see the offensive line, protecting whoever's throwing the ball in Indy, because I want to make sure that when Luck does get out there, he's going to be safe, because if he does, that Luck to T.Y. Hilton connection is going to be huge. So
Huge.
Steve, any final thoughts on that last game? And if not, then you can just get to your normal final thoughts.
Nope, I got nothing. Thank you guys for listening to this episode of the Fantasy Football Funhouse. You can find us on Twitter at FF Funhouse. You can also be on the lookout for our new website, which would also be under the same name, fantasyfootballfunhouse.com. And I think that's it. That's all.
You don't even have to look out for it. It is on there. You can go to Fantasy
there you go.
Football Funhouse right now. Fantasyfootballfunhouse.com for all of your fantasy football fun.
Nice. Sal?
Yeah, just again, check out the Goat District podcast. And also tomorrow, Dynasty Warzone. I was part of a mock draft that took place on Monday night. It was a redraft mock. I know it's Dynasty Warzone. Seems kind of like an oxymoron. But that's going to be released tomorrow. We recorded live as the draft was going on. That was a lot of fun and a lot of good podcast guys there. I retweeted this today and I quote tweeted this today, and this is put up by Dynasty Guru FF at Dynasty Guru FF, and it says at Gridiron Genetics, just let our league know that our first ever champion and retired league mate was struck with a brain aneurysm and is currently on life support. As a league, we would like to help his family, and he's a father of 4 girls. Please retweet and donate if you can. Thank you. I posted this in every chat that we're in. I retweeted this on Twitter. I can tell you that mostly through the Capitalist Pigs leagues, I've received over $100 in donations already to contribute towards that. And I'm just asking everybody to go to my Twitter, find my tweet, donate directly yourself if you would like to do that, or reach out to me and we'll send a big lump sum in and acknowledge everybody to put money in. But this is a fantasy football guy, a guy who's played for years, and as a family guy and a father, this touches me. So do what you can. $1, $2, $5, whatever. Let's give to this guy's family.
Yeah, listen, I always talk about on my final thought, giving to charity, adding it to your fantasy football playing experience. And this is exactly something you can do, right? Take your league's fees that you're collecting right now as you're starting up your drafts. Take one of them, just one league dues, and find a way to go get this guy some money. Take that due. You guys won't miss it from your pot at the end of the year. You won't even remember that you did it, and it'll help this family out tremendously. So do that, and then you'll feel better about your fantasy football year. Also, just a reminder to everyone, as we talked about in the beginning of the show, Fantasy Football Funhouse is now your Apple podcast place to get this podcast. So go to Fantasy Football Fun, or search Fantasy Football Funhouse on the Apple Podcast app, and you will find the new feed. Make sure you subscribe, like, rate, review, whatever you want to do.
New reviews is what I noticed the most about that.
Yeah, we need a lot more reviews because we don't get to keep any of the other ones. So if you could review us, that would be great. We will forever be in your debt. Steve will send.
I'm copy and pasting those old reviews. I'm telling you. Right?
Absolutely. Steve will send you a prize if you review. I don't know what it'll be. It could just be a piece of the floor that he writes on, but. I didn't say a good prize, but I'll send you a prize.
Kevin, I don't know if you heard, but we don't hit the button anymore.
Oh, no button? Well, there's no button in the
that.
Funhouse, huh?
Yeah, you can either slap the salami, choke the chicken, do anything you want to do, but no more button hitting.
So, Steve, get to whatever you need to get to. Just keep it off camera.
Slapping.
Just keep it off camera.
Hurry, step this way. Want 2 nickels, 1 dime, a 10th part of $1. We've got the show if you've got the dime. It's just starting.
Fantasy Football Funhouse, Football Funhouse, Football Funhouse.